it is Derby season, Triple Crown season, and it's a nice little moment to kind of look back. Obviously, the Kentucky Derby is the most famous race in horse racing. That name, most non-horse racing aficionados can at least tell you the one race being the Kentucky Derby. Certainly isn't the richest. Plenty of money will be given out, but the big money is in the Breeders' Cup. But Raider Jim, just your thoughts on, kind of the history of the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, you said it. It's not the richest. It's not the biggest purse, but I'll tell you what, it has withheld the test of time. This is going to be the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby, and not every track can say that. Not every handicap or sweepstakes can say that. This is a very, very special race. For me, of course, I can't believe when I was looking at this, it's going back 16 years now when Calvin Burrell hit that rail and took Mind That Bird at 51 across the line. What a race that was. Got to appreciate the more recently 2019 Country House, who crossed the line at like 65-1. And then who can forget just a few years back, Rich Strike went just over 80-1. The $6 bet across the board, 2 to win, 2 to place, 2 to show, would have gotten you a return of $266 in your pocket. That's a pretty good return on a $6 investment. But if you really want to say, but what is there one horse that stands out? It's got to be 2015 American Pharoah.
Yeah, obviously the historical significance of that 2015. And we did see Justify win the Triple Crown. Maybe, if you want to put an asterisk on it, fine. No big deal. But American Pharoah, for a lot of people, will say, is the last Triple Crown winner, but definitely ended that kind of that Secretariat drought, or at least the Triple Crown drought. And obviously it starts at the Derby. And I also will say the Triple Crown landscape, I think, has really, really changed. Obviously it was, okay, these big horses, they're going to run in all three. Now you have some of the big horses just completely skipping the Kentucky Derby. You want to play spoiler in the Preakness, or the horses that maybe finish second or third here in the Derby say, you know what, let's take an extra few weeks. Let's just go straight up to Belmont and get ready for the Belmont Stakes. So it is so difficult to win the to win the Triple Crown. Not like it wasn't before, but now you do kind of have that extra, both the Preakness and the Belmont are going to have pretty fresh contenders to go up against the one horse everyone's going to be looking at and will more than likely be the favorite. I would say for me, obviously, Rich Strike. The story behind Rich Strike, there was, of course, the barn fire. Every horse except for Rich Strike on the barn, unfortunately, did pass away. And, Rich Strike, I don't mean to laugh, but it's essentially one of those, well, that was the fastest horse in the barn. And the run that Rich Strike had, if you go back and, NBC usually, they'll probably put it out this weekend. I mean, they've been kind of putting it out pretty much weekly for the last 2 months, but the run of Rich Strike going from, essentially 18th all the way to the front, not only as, just a contending horse, but as you mentioned, one of the biggest long shots ever. But it really is the start of something special. I kind of think of it kind of like a sporting event or a football game. Like, you can't win the game in the first quarter, but you can lose it. You can't win the Triple Crown in the Kentucky Derby, but obviously 19 horses are going to lose out their opportunity to get it. And I think the other part, we talked about it last week, kind of bringing the whole family back together. We don't have the Bob Baffert, what ifs, what horses aren't here, and would they have been able to run down Rich Strike, or, this or that, whatever, fill in the blanks for the past 3 years. We don't have to deal with that this year. And I think that's going to kind of make things, again, kind of the family's all whole again. Everyone's at Thanksgiving dinner. We don't have to tiptoe around anything here and there. Cannot wait for this weekend, and emphasis on the weekend, because again, we're going to focus on the Oaks and the Derby, but there is a lot of other really good races, even ones that we don't have the time to get to.